I'm Ira, and welcome to this session talking about money and famine. Today we have Kuthi, Kenny, Ruku, and Kuti. First up, Kuthi has a question to Kuti.
Kuti, do you know why Ira was attached to you?
She was attached to me because she wasn't able to have children, and I was the youngest child, so she treated me like a son. Good job, Ray.
Second up, Kenny to Ruku.
Ruku, how did you feel after the storm, and how did it affect you?
After the storm, I was devastated because so many huts and so many crops were destroyed, and it affected me because I didn't have enough food for my family.
Third up, Kuti to Kenny.
Kenny, when Ruku was having fertility problems, why did you decide to help her, and how did it benefit her?
I helped her because having sons would be beneficial to her family, so her husband wouldn't be in the field working all by himself. And
Fourth up, Ruku to Kuthi.
Kuthi, I'd just like to ask you why you asked Nathan to steal rice from my family to give to yours.
Okay, well, first of all, I don't know if you know this, but Nathan is the father of 2 of my children too. So, I need rice for my boys, and they're also Nathan's kids, and so my family needs to live too. So, that's it.
Wow.
Okay, now.
Fifth up, Ira, which is me, to Kuthi. Why did you beg, then demand rice from Ruku?
Well, first I begged because I'm lacking nutrients and I'm hungry, and my husband left me, and I just decided to be courteous to Ruku and ask her for some rice. But then she wasn't listening to me, and she wouldn't offer me anything, even though I was being so nice to her. So then later I decided to blackmail her and let her know some of the secrets I know about her and threaten her to get what I wanted.
Okay. Sixth up, Ruku to Nathan.
How did you feel about your sons leaving you instead of working in the fields?
Well, I felt very depressed because out of all my sons, none of them stayed with me to work in the fields with me to produce more food and more output for people to sell to make more money, so that was very depressing. Seventh up, Ira to Kenny. So Kenny, where were you during Ruku and her family's famine and money crisis?
well, that information is classified. Just know it's important.
Okay. Eighth up, Kenny to Nathan.
So Nathan, when the money started rolling from Ira's prostitution, why didn't you eat from it?
It disgusted me that my one and only daughter was prostituting out of all things. She put matters into her own hands when she didn't need to, and I felt disgusted. I did not want any part of it. Ninth up, Kenny to Ruku.
So Ruku, what was the breaking point that made you give up on Kuti?
Although it was a difficult decision, he was born with a lot of bad things already happening to him. He was too far gone, and I didn't want to put him through any more pain.
10th up, Ruku to Kenny.
Kenny, when you found out about Kuthi's starvation, why didn't you do anything to help?
When I got back, everything was back to normal, so I didn't really know about his starvation. That's why I didn't do anything about it.
11th up, Kuti to Ruku.
Ruku, what made you realize times were so hard you needed to dig up your rice stash?
Well, after the monsoon hit, I realized that my family was going to need as much nutrients as possible, so I decided it was time to dig it out.
12th up, Kuti to Nathan.
So Nathan, how did you feel after the monsoon? Did you lose your faith?
I I never lost faith because I kept what Kenny said to me in mind, that basically I should just show my family the faith so we can keep on prospering even though it's such hard times.
Oh my gosh.
13th up, Kenny to Cootie.
So, Cootie, how did starvation affect you, and what was the outcome?
Starvation affected me the most because I was the youngest and I wasn't fully grown yet, and it made me very weak and tired, and it was just too late, and I died of starvation and hunger.
Iowa Granny are going to be asking questions about money lending in response
Kenny,
to
what did you give to Raku?
I gave Raku some milk because I saw that her family was in need and she was breastfeeding a child that was almost over the 3 years of age, and she was running out of breast milk and he needed more nutrients, so I gave her milk to help her family along.
Nathan, why did you give Kunti the rice?
Because Kunti threatened me that she would tell Ruku that I was the father of her 2 sons.
Ira, why did your husband leave you?
Because I was a barren woman, which means I couldn't have children, and he wanted to have sons, and I just couldn't give it to me. Okay.
And how did you feel about him leaving?
I was really sad, but also relieved, because, like, I knew he was going to leave me, so.
You tell him.
Shivaji, why did you only get half the payment from Raku and Nathan?
Well, I saw that they were having hard times with not enough rain and all the crops were dead, but at the same time I needed to please my boss. So I decided that if maybe I just take half from them, that it would be a fair price to pay. And I knew it was hard on them too, since they didn't have a lot of crops or rice or anything to pay with, but I needed to please my boss and it's hard times.
How did you feel when you first saw the hut?
I was very sad because I was living in a house and downgraded to a hut. But, you know, I realized that my neighbors told me that my husband Nathan built it with his own bare hands. And I realized he loved me, goals.